Hello, this is a guide for 80% inbounds in Yoku's Island Express. In the bottom left corner you can see on the map where we are all the time. The first thing to mention is that you can use several buttons to mesh through the text boxes. So here for phosphor I use A, B and Y because it opens the map automatically. If you talk to people that don't open the map, you should not use Y. Collect here some fruits so you have enough for the noisemaker. Once you come to the noisemaker chest, make sure to stand on the left side of the chest and face to the left when you open it. Also, if you press A and B at the same time several times while you pick up an item, you may skip the text box entirely and you don't even lose momentum. Get some fruits here and get down to phosphor again. The first big skip is phosphor snap. You want to be in a very specific spot and then just press once to the right and you're gonna get through phosphor. An interesting part of Yoku is when you're rolling down a slope, you are sometimes faster than actually pushing the ball. So pressing nothing here may be faster. Entering the Sutling house and the first pinball machine, you're gonna notice that I'm not gonna go randomly, just shoot all the time. I walk always where I want to be and stop right before the flipper, so I see where the next rune gonna spawn and then shoot there directly. A missing shot wastes way more time. When you talk to kickback, you want to stand as far as left as possible, so the talking animation drags you in a position to the right, and if you spam the text box away, you can use that momentum to go on. If you would stand here on the right side, you would be dragged to the left and you would even lose more time. Collect all the fruits on the way. Fruits are really essential for the first half of the run. Get a wallet upgrade from here. Here I use the noisemaker to destroy one or two of these crystal rocks. It's a safe way to destroy them, otherwise the angle for the left crystal there is pretty annoying. You can always honk to get fruits that seems out of range, like these two in the pipe down here. And when you come to Meadow 2, you really want that bottom left slug here for later. So don't destroy it on accident. After grabbing the slug back, you want to use a slug to get back in the pipe that you came from. You want to have the slug body actually where the flipper pedal would be. Coming back to Meadow 2, and you get a slug and you want to hold the blue pedal out, so you drop right in front of the bottom left slug, and you can use a slug to explode yourself into another one, and you can reset the timer of the slug. Coming up with the slug to this pole, you want to aim for the ribbon, and that way you can knock it off and skip the entire tower on the left side. Make sure to grab a lot of fruits here. You actually need for this route 91 fruits when you come to the village. After talking to Nim and get the main quests, you want to unlock two flippers, one that leads to the beeline hub and one that gives you access to the slugs below. Grab one of the slugs, go up to the beeline hub and aim for the very top beeline. Once you come to the tree, after you press the last time the left trigger, you want to spam A as fast as you can, so you drop onto the tree and you can get 2 bananas from here. For beginners, I recommend to solve the ore station now, so open both hatches and then go to the left. The fruit count is also not that important for the beginner route because you get some fruit in the ore station. Coming to the lighthouse, Thief Drop, one of the easiest skips in the game. And that's all we're gonna do here. As I mentioned before, the skips in the ore station are not for beginners, but I show them here anyway, so you know what you could do. For God Misfire, you want to honk, frame perfect the first Wicker link here in ore station, so you get a text box while you are hitting the slug nest. When you're waiting at least a second while the text box is open, your momentum gonna reset and you're gonna bounce differently than you should, and you can drop that way into the beeline. After getting the hook, we really need fruits, so I'd recommend to get at least one of the bananas. The second one is easier to get with just a honk. If you got God Misfire, I also recommend to get both bananas. Get some more fruits from the crates here. And get a frame perfect fling up to the telescope. Depending on your fruit count, you really want to have more fruits, so you drop down here for some more pots. Get rid of the snowball and go up to the seed pod that we're gonna collect later. Get some more fruits and open up the guano fight. You want to have here at least 80 fruits. If you are at 75, you can still grab a pineapple at the water well on the very right. For these flowers, I highly recommend not to go do firsties. Firsties are hooks that you release on the first round. The problem about these is the speed depends on your impact on the flower. So it can change depending on how you reach to the flower, how fast you are. It's like 1 second loss for an extra rotation, and that's worth it. The cool thing about this game, you don't have to talk to everyone. Like, you can skip almost every talking if you know what you have to do. Like, no talking to Tylo, Ohm, or Jamja at this point. Just at the very end or when you collect stuff. For these talking, I only use A and B because there's no map opening. In the guano fight, the noisemaker gets to its best because you can destroy all the crystals through the wall with your party horn. The best rotation for entering the bottom spider fight is to go on the very left. So you would hit the very left spider on the top and get some extra hits on the other two spiders up there. Then the second hit is aimed directly for the very left spider, so you hit through the left, the top, and on the right spider, and then destroy the other spiders that are left. As always in pinball tables, don't shoot randomly, always stop with Yoku and get to the aiming shot where you want to. A missing shot will always take longer than aim preparation. A thing in the top spider fight, if you're an accident, get into the mouth of the big spider, hold the yellow flipper up, so you're always gonna land safely on the blue one. After rocket started, just walk off the cliff and very shortly get the hook on these 4 flowers. On the last flower you can take a little longer, like hold it for 10 frames or so you can get a fling to the right side. For fountain skip, you want to have the ball touching the top branch, but actually not crossing the entire branch. So there's no background white between the ball and the branch, but you can't see the branch the entire time. That's the point where you want to shoot you off. When entering the hideout, knocking off this pole saves a bit time, so you don't have to wait later. After getting into the underbelly, we're gonna leave it to the left and get the dive fish. This is only for any percent inbounds. For all bosses and main quests, you don't have to get the dive fish. For this little skip, you want to hug the right wall and then just hold left the entire time. And you're gonna land on the flipper down there. Make sure not to honk the crystal, otherwise you're gonna drop off and you have to pay the 80 cost anyway. After getting the dive fish, we want to enter the underbelly again and get through it to the boss with 2 little skips. The first one is Steam Slug, where you want to grab a slug out of this pinball area and shoot directly through the steam. The second one, after you open the last cannon, you want to go one above, and once you run off the cliff here, make a turnaround mid-air so you land inside the cannon. After getting the runes in this boss fight, I recommend to use only one ball at a time. It gets way easier to get focus. After the boss here, for any percent inbounds, you want to go to the right. Just hold right and you're gonna drop into the hole where the Skullgangers went in before. For all bosses and main quests, you want to use the beeline back to the village here and use a glitch to get to the last boss. Down here in the Underdark is almost everything just playing pinball very well. So I cannot teach here very much, but I can explain how I used to do the pinball tables the best way I know. In the first area, I'm gonna use the party horn to honk the crystals on the left side, while I always gonna shoot once to the right. So I open both rooms up at the same time. For the second area, I'm gonna use a slug to get the spinner at the top with only one shot. And then get the runes with 2 more slugs. In Hell, the third and last piece down here, you want to try to get the runes all at the top left side, so you can collect them without triggering all of them, because the last rune would be on the very right edge of the top area, and for that one you have to go to the bottom area. There are shots that you can grab it and you can get up without opening the bottom area, but the best is if you never fall down. For the dwarf friends here, the only important thing is that you don't want to do bottom left before bottom right, because you can get to bottom left from bottom right pretty fast. you are holding right and spam A, you can instantly talk to Jet and you don't have a problem with get into the cannon. After that, you want to go right directly into the pinball area again and leave it to the left. For this pinball area, you always want to focus on the one where the rune spawned. Because the second drops always the third always the first always the fourth, and the fourth always the second. So no matter where you start, you can do always a rotation there. For the last guy, the noisemaker is again really good. The important thing is to have Yoku rotated to the left, so he is aiming to the left side. That way you can get extra hits on the crystal. It is even possible to get through all the crystals in one go. When you are swimming and you wiggle up and down with the joystick, you can get some little boosts. For Screech, you can destroy the slugs with the noisemaker, but you should not attempt it on the first try, because if the stone gets destroyed on the very first attempt, the guys get in before the swords spawn and you get a bad rotation. What I do in Screech fight is I go to the bottom with Yoku so he's not in the way, and I just focus on the 3 ninjas to get them to the swords. Once I know that the last ninja gets to the sword, I get to the bottom flipper and I get free with Yoku. After damage phase, I try to go to the right with Yoku, because if you use the very right yellow pedal, you're gonna free all the 3 ninjas and you get a very good setup for bringing them back to the source. You see how I went away from the pedal with Yoku on purpose so he not get flipped up. After the boss, we're gonna invest 30 fruits, get 10 from Creepers, invest another 30 fruits, and pay for the beeline to get back to Nim in the village. Now you can use the beeline up to the hidden tunnel for the ceremony instruments. In main quest, you might have used the 80 cost. In the final boss fight, you first want to go to the left, get the rune there, and then go to the right and get all the other runes there. In this phase, you always want to go to the left first because you can get a double hit on that side. Means this 2 cycle gets way easier. In the labyrinth, I try to bring the second, the third, and the fourth ninja first out. And once the second is in the second position, I start spamming blue. As soon the first ninja gets on the right side, I'm gonna use the yellow flippers again. And for this part, good luck. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions... What?